Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's finale of Hunter Bad Blood. And I'm saying finale like we're absolutely going to get through this episode and the story will be complete. That's the plan. Before we do that, let's do a round of introductions, starting with Ryan. Tell us about yourself and who you're playing.
I'm Ryan, and I am unremarkable. Diego D is who I'm playing. He is a ex-spook with military experience and kind of new to the little crew here. Somewhat of an outsider, and he is only unremarkable because he chooses to appear unremarkable. And I will pass it over to Jason.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'll be playing Peter tonight, the paranoid Q / Ted Kaczynski wannabe, it seems. He's totally unremarkable as well. Nothing remarkable about him at all. Except the beard. He does have the beard.
He does have a remarkable beard. Nice. Who would you like to pass it over to?
I'll pass it over to Ed.
Hey, my name's Ed. I've been playing Billy, the ex-cop, and really looking forward to seeing what kind of conclusion we come to this evening. Over to you, Carly.
Yeah, hi, I'm Carly, and I'm hungry. I'm currently waiting on food to arrive, so that's the most important thing on my brain. But secondary, I'm playing Mari Griff, the absolutely remarkable middle school science teacher who, well, she fucks up vampires with her bare hands. That's
and science. You have scienced some vampires to death hardcore during this.
Oh yeah, I mean, guys, don't play with magnesium powder at home. Please don't. It's honestly, just don't.
Hang on, I gotta scratch that off my to-do list for later.
Don't tell me what to do. You aren't my real dad.
Right? You're not my
Nobody's dad.
You're not my real high school teacher.
Middle school.
Oh,
Thanks.
right, middle school teacher.
Yeah.
All right.
Myosha.
I do feel like before we dive into this, we do have a new mini for Billy that I should probably throw on here.
I did not have time to make a new mini.
That's all right. Oh, just kidding. I can't.
You tried.
Use your
It didn't
imagination as Ed describes the new look once we get there. But before that happens, just a quick recap. You're all being hunted by vampires because a certain person that you have helped by the name of Ray seems to have some kind of special ability to destroy vampires with his blood. Now, you all decided you were going to figure that out. That never happened. All of your carefully laid plans went to crap pretty directly. And,
Because nobody listened to Mari.
I'm pretty sure we could make it into a bumper sticker or a shirt for you. And in the aftermath, it seemed that the vampires had learned about this ability, and we're coming after Ray and you and trying to essentially put an end to this threat against them. You'd been sent by a corporation known as Onryo to test this weaponization of Ray's blood, with Ryan's character D being a representative of that corporation. However, as everything was going to shit for you, it was also going to shit pretty hardcore for Onryo, and their headquarters in San Francisco was burned to the ground with most of the people inside. You do know that the owner of the company did survive. However, Amelia Love, who is both Dee's direct boss and Peter's former partner as a hunter was killed. She was killed in the attack on the building. You sought shelter for a bit. You sought the information that Amelia had sent out before her death, and found out that there's some kind of like hierarchy amongst vampires. You were able to learn, and in San Francisco, there's something called a prince, and that prince is a warlord vampire, apparently, known as Karsh. This seems maybe bad. It's hard to tell, but it seemed bad. But Amelia essentially was like, you need to do something about this because he's going to hunt you forever until either you put him down or he puts you down. And then she was gone. And so, getting the information, you all decided to take the hunt to Karsh. You did some checking with the information that you got, as well as a little bit of recon during the last episode, finding that he was in the Intercontinental Hotel in San Francisco, a multi-story building made of glass and steel, and you kind of all gone your separate ways to an extent. Mari going and getting a spa day. Getting a makeover to be a little less conspicuous as somebody that has been seen before with Ray. Getting a room just below the penthouse, which is where Karsh apparently has his lair. Dee had set up about a block away in another high-rise that had view of the Intercontinental, sniper rifle at the ready. And then we kind of were working on things from there. I know there was some drone recon going to happen, which we talked about off the air, so we will get into that after we deal with the end of last episode, where Mari had been hanging out in the bar pretty late at night, the evening of where you had all returned to San Francisco. You'd gone down to the bar to get a drink, kind of keep an eye on the crowd, see if you could learn anything, and you had actually noticed what you think is a vampire, because there was a kind of a heavyset fellow that had come in wearing kind of a shabby business suit, and he'd taken off his coat, loosened his tie, laid his coat down, got himself a drink, and was just hanging out when kind of a mousy-haired, smaller fellow, real slick looking, came in, sat next to him, and seemed to use some kind of mind control to get this fellow to leave. He got up, left his jacket and beer there, and followed the guy out. You decided to follow them to see if this was a vampire and what you could do maybe, or at least get recon on it. And so we're gonna start there. Why don't we have ourselves a little chat, Carly? So Mari is she steps out into the heat of the night. It is pretty late at night. The festivities that had been going on at the college next door, the little university that's next to the hotel, have really been, really worn themselves out. There are a few people kind of wandering around. As you follow these two, you do know from your recon that there is a parking garage just past this university. It's not like a huge campus, maybe a block. And so you are following, and as you get closer, you notice them turn and head into an alley that sits between the university itself and the parking garage. What do you do?
I think she continues to try and follow, like, unnoticed. I know they tucked into an alley, so I think she kind of maybe pauses at the corner, so where she can still see them moving down the alley, but gives a little more space, just because presumably there's not people besides them in the alley.
What did you do? Sorry, I'm gonna I'm just going to keep doing it backwards just to mess with you all. A stealth dexterity check for me.
Okay. 4 successes.
4 successes. You get up to the corner. A couple of people walk by, a younger couple, hand in hand. They're kind of giggling together. You let them go by, and then you peek around the corner, and you see them down a little ways, just passing, or just kind of going out of sight as they get next to a van. And then the van is between you and your line of sight is cut off from them.
Okay. I'm gonna try and use like the van as cover to circle and move closer into the alley
Sure.
to try and keep a lock on the figures.
I'm not going to have you do a stealth for this one. The van gives you pretty good cover and will carry over your successes. You get closer and you actually hear conversation. It's a little muffled. If you want to try and listen, I'll need a check for it. If you don't want to wait, then I won't need a check for it.
I think she'll try and listen. It's not her best thing that she's.
So it's a wits awareness.
2 successes.
2 successes. You hear that fellow's voice, the one who had the kind of silky voice that was very hypnotic to this other fellow. He's saying, Murray, I really appreciate you coming out tonight. Sorry, I should have let you finish your beer. I was just, I'm kind of in a hurry. Stuff's going down. If you could just, take a look at it real quick, that'd be great. And then you hear a latch, and then what sounds like a hood being opened.
Yeah, I mean, she does it. I mean, she's gonna take a look. She's gonna try and get eyes on them and whatever is happening, even if that puts her in.
Sure. Go ahead and do a stealth awareness, or sorry, not a stealth awareness, a stealth
awareness.
Dex for me.
Mm-hmm. 4 successes.
4 successes again. You peek around and you can see the mousy-haired fellow's kind of leaning against what looks like a dumpster. And he's got his head kind of tilted back. He's smoking a cigarette. Every so often he glances over, and he is glancing in your direction, but he doesn't seem to notice you. He seems to be glancing at the heavyset fellow who is looking into the dumpster. And at this point you realize it's actually a Cybertruck that they're working on. Mm-hmm. And he's looking into it, kind of messing with some wires. Oh yeah, man, this is I wouldn't drive this if you have a choice. It looks like this is melted, first of all. I don't know. Yeah, you got the 17 recalls from this, didn't you? Yeah.
Is there the greasy haired, silky word guy, is there any way that now that she can see him that she can maybe try to read his intent? Is he planning to do something while this guy is distracted by the atrocity that is a Cybertruck? Yeah,
let's do a call it a wits insight.
Sure. 4 successes.
4 successes. For its worth, I still haven't even got that many successes on anything I've rolled tonight. It's fantastic. You're kind of watching him. He's very relaxed. He doesn't seem to be ready to pounce or anything. It looks like this guy is maybe his behind the scenes mechanic,
In a shabby suit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's just gonna keep a lookout for a little bit, and just make sure that nothing untoward happens.
Sure.
But I think she gives a little kind of sigh of relief.
As they're talking, you get the feeling, or you hear Murray, who is the heavyset guy. He's like, "Look, man, I got classes in the morning. I have papers I need to go grade. This really isn't what I signed up for. When I appreciate the pay and everything, but you really should take it back. Really, you should just drive it into the desert and leave it there. But probably at least take it in for the recalls." All right. Could you actually drive me? I've got to run errands for the boss, and I don't really want to burst into flames or get locked into this thing and have it drive into like the sunrise or something. So I'd appreciate it. Yeah, if it's quick. Is it on my way home? And they kind of go back and forth, and Murray shuts the hood on this Cybertruck, and goes over and takes out the keys and starts getting into the van in front of you.
Well, given the fact that he didn't seem to react to the bursting into flames bit, did Murray think that was just like a joke, or does it seem like Murray knows that this guy is a vampire?
Yeah, you could do it insight. Yeah, we'll do wits insight if you want to try and get a little more
Yeah,
feel
especially if I'm
for
about
it.
to let him go off alone together. Okay, that was only 2 successes.
Only
that time.
2. So you did see him smirk a little bit at it, but whether he thought it was a joke or he was just like, yeah, that's a good point, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think she will just let them go, but I think she'll send a message to to the group on her burner phone with just like the information that it's a Cybertruck, it's a vampire supposedly running errands for the boss. And then once they've left, head back to the hotel.
Yeah, so the Murray gets into the van, and as you're kind of watching, you see Murray's, like, there's a tag hanging from his rearview mirror that you have like kind of an eye on from your angle. Looks like he actually works at the college that you're standing next to. He's a teacher there. And he gets in.
This mechanic.
The
vampire couldn't get a real mechanic.
You see them both get into the van, starts up, and they drive off into the night.
Yeah, so she'll send the message to the group. I mean, she probably sent it just before they left, so if anybody wanted to keep tabs, they would, have the time. And then she'll wait for it to like round the alley corner before probably leaving the jacket just like on the side in the alley, like he took it off to look at the Cybertruck. Maybe like folded onto the Cybertruck or whatever, and then I head back to the hotel.
After like all of that, you're walking back, and you can hear the alarm on the Cybertruck goes off. You're like well away from it.
Whatever.
So sorry, who did you message first?
I imagine that she probably messaged sorry, names. Peter and Billy, because they're part of her group.
Gotcha.
And then maybe as she was leaving the alley, she's like, oh, and then text D as well.
Gotcha. Is it a group message that you send out to Peter and Billy, or are they 2 separates?
I think it's 2 separate messages.
All right. So, Peter, you get the first message detailing the events. Is there anything you want to message back?
Not really at this point. He's more focused on the big guy,
Okay.
so he's not going to worry about trying to take this guy out at the moment.
Billy, you get the same text.
I think Billy just responds like, "Is there anything that you need from me immediately?"
She responds, no, just relaying. I'll be right back. My food is at the door, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Says this information is dispersed across your broken network here, or your spread out web of people. Let's just go over what we talked about off the air as far as information that you all glean over the next couple of days, because you are trying to do some recon on the situation before storming the castle, essentially. And Jason, Peter had sent up a drone to get an idea of what was going on, and you've realized pretty quickly that the windows on the penthouse were tinted and probably coated with various UV blocking, as well as you're having a hard time with your drone trying to get footage, but you do end up finding a filter that allows you to kind of peer in and see. It's mostly like heat signatures, and so a lot of it is just kind of a deep blue. It seems like it's pretty cool in there. It's not running heat. And the people that you notice going in and out are mostly colder than that. They're just smudges on this cold background. And as you watch them, you realize that there's one figure, kind of a hulking, I don't want to say beast of a man, but definitely a very large fellow that seems to be the mainstay in the room. And that first evening, so not the night that Mari encounters the vampire, but the next day you're watching for a while, and it's not until that evening that you see him disappear. There is what appears to be a stairwell that isn't accessed from the stairwell that is like the emergency stairwell for the rest of the hotel. He goes back into there, and you actually lose sight. Your cameras aren't able to penetrate. But the next morning, you do catch him come back in, and he gets in a very large pneumatic-powered coffin. Is there anything that you need to know beyond that we didn't cover?
No, I think that's probably the best he's going to get with the drone at this point. Maybe, like looking at some of the people going in and out for heat signatures, etc., seeing if there's like a lot of human traffic, vampire traffic, etc.
Yeah, you don't see any. You do see like some vampire traffic that goes in and out, but you don't see any humans that go in and out. And you can definitely see, as you're kind of like looking at the rest of the hotel, there are heat signatures all over. It's not super busy right at the moment, but you do, every floor has humans in it. And every so often you'll see that colder figure move through, gets in the elevator, takes it up, exits. So there are passes that allow access to that level on the elevator. But you know that it doesn't actually, there's no key on the elevator any longer, or like there's no button to push for it. You need a key that you enter in. Ed, what's Billy been looking for during this time?
Billy has he spent a little bit of time earlier in the evening trying to do work to cut off Karsh's escape route. He was in the parking garage earlier,
Right.
chatting with one of the kids on duty to identify the specific vehicle that's likely used by Karsh, or at least his cadre of vampires. So with that in mind, he sort of filed that away, maybe even like sent off a text to Peter to try to get, or I don't know if I could use my arsenal edge for this, but some kind of like car bomb or resource or something like that to try to set that up. So if they manage to slip away,
Yeah.
maybe they have a nasty surprise.
Why don't you use your edge?
All right. So that is, I'm doing that with Streetwise, if I remember correctly. I need to look up exactly how this works.
Okay. While you're checking that, I'm just going to check in with Ryan and see what it is that Dee has been doing in preparation for all of this.
Yeah, so last week he was first not last week, last game. He had secured himself a room high up in the hotel to get a good sniper position. He had also spent some time kind of down on the streets talking to the homeless folk and
Right.
people that just vanish. At some point, he would probably, he wants to gain access through one of his edges into kind of the digital security system, and then kind of leave a worm so that he could access it from outside, like outside the Intercontinental. So kind of that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be in the system, which Mari has already a room in the Intercontinental, right?
Right.
And so he would kind of be a guest of hers to gain physical access to the Intercontinental. Use one of his masks if necessary, so he's not going to be like he's going to be taking on a different kind of persona while he's at the Intercontinental, and then hacking into the system to kind of plant this worm so that he can gain access to kind of the digital information outside of the Intercontinental, but also possibly gain more access than we've been able to thus far.
Yeah. I'm going to have you do some rolls for that, but we'll come back to you as first let's have Ed do Billy's rolls for your...
So Billy was unable to meet the target
Gotcha.
for that. So apparently, landmines or C4 just can't be had at a drop of a hat.
Right. Yeah, you get a hold of your contact, and it was just, if you've got a week, then they can do it. But trying to move that in right now, they actually had a run on them last week. If you would have just called the week ago, they could have gotten a whole bunch of them, but just missed out.
So
Black
I
Friday
think
sale.
The best thing that Billy can do is send like a photo and a close-up of the license plate to the other hunters. So at least if D has a bead on them from the roof or something like that, right? We know what we're looking at.
Sure.
And
as
text back, can we just disable the vehicle for now?
Yeah, maybe. You think at brake lines or something like that?
Yeah, or disable the fuel line so we can't drive it. Brake lines, they can still get away.
You could just steal the starter. Those things are easy to just take out. Take it out.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure that I would know what I was looking at for the starter. I'm not exactly a black thumb.
There's these things called instruction manuals that are for free on the internet.
Don't be a cunt.
They have diagrams and everything. Sorry, that's my teacher in me. That every moment's a teaching moment. This is all over text. It's very hard to read intent over text.
We could try to get to it later. I got to finish up some stuff here. Maybe we can get to the vehicle after this.
All right. Well, as you all figure that out, Ryan, let's come back to you with D's rolls.
Okay.
So Mari sets up for you to essentially visit. You go in and you get a
elevator key.
Yeah, I'm like, you probably need an elevator key. So Mari, would you go down and like just let D up, or is D going to need to get a key from the front desk?
Well, I think I got the room. I said that I was expecting visitors and gave a list of names that could just get keys when they arrived.
So Mari already made the roll to essentially interact within the hotel without being recognized. Using your mask, go ahead and do, we'll call it subterfuge and manipulation.
Okay. Three successes.
Nice. Does your mask grant you anything bonus-wise, or is there anything I need to know about it?
Yeah. I mean, masks basically make me into a different person.
Okay.
So.
What does D look like as he heads into this situation?
He doesn't change his appearance. I mean, his appearance isn't drastically physically, like facial features
Puts on
isn't drastically
sunglasses.
changed. But he has he's wearing kind of much more kind of urban, less, much more urban, more kind of like rough Oakland vibes, and has like a bandana tie, a black. He looks like a Raiders fan, kind of, and kind of walks with a slight limp, and has kind of that street swag, and has applied kind of some. He already has tattoos on his arms, but like neck tattoo up to here, maybe a teardrop. I'm really trying to play that part.
Okay.
And probably is wearing a Raiders like hat.
So you go in. Hang on one sec. Let me do one other roll. You got 4. Is that what you said? Okay. So as you go in,
I got three.
3. You go in and you head up to the main desk. They're very polite. They give you, like, they check your name against the list that Mari left. They give you the elevator key card, and essentially ask if you want any water or any beverages or snacks sent up to the room or anything. Very polite. But as you are heading to the elevator, you do notice a fellow, very neat suit, kind of spiky black hair. He's wearing some some thin rimmed circle glasses. He just kind of stares at you a little weird. He's standing almost at like attention, kind of off in the corner of the room. To an extent, he kind of stands out, especially to you as you been in the military and kind of have been trained to watch for things. Very stiff mannerisms. And you might have seen him as you glanced over talking to himself.
Okay. He's gonna go back to the desk, to the front desk. Like he like goes to leave. He notices this guy. He turns around, and he's gonna start he's gonna kind of wave the um the worker over, the hospitality worker.
Concierge.
Yeah, and kind of point at the guy and be like, "Listen, like I know I may not dress the same as everyone else here, but I am a successful producer, and this dude just keeps staring me down. It's making me feel real uncomfortable. What the hell, man?"
The fellow at the desk, he's probably college age, has some dark hair, but there's like a blue stripe like off to one side, not tattooed in it, dyed in it. You can see that he has like facial piercings that he's taken out for work. He leans over, oh yeah, man, don't worry about it. He's an employee of a guest of the hotel. He's just security. Just as long as you're not causing any problems, he'll, not cause you any problems.
Okay. He'll like kind of like do a nod, and then as he walks towards the elevator, he'll make it clear that he knows that he's been spotted by this guy. Like he'll look directly at him. Again, really trying to play that part of I'm not gonna like he's not making a scene, but it feels like he's trying to give the image that like, damn, he's holding back from not making a scene.
Right.
Like he could go over there and beat the shit out of this guy because that's who he is, but he'll instead go in the elevator.
You see the guy, his body doesn't really move, but his head turns and follows you. And as you're just like, being kind of physically aggressive without like actually going over there, like being intimidating. He just kind of stares at you. His expression doesn't change. And then he's out of sight as you move down the little hall to the elevator. You head upstairs. The elevator opens. There's a short hallway. Looks like there are 4 rooms that go off of this. You head down to Mari's room. Mari, are you there for this, or are you elsewhere now? You're muted, sorry.
I guess it depends, because Mari has been scouting in terms of looking at the stairwells, looking for access points, but also, I mean, she has been checking out the access points from her own room. I was going to bring up to Peter about potentially getting like a small remote controlled like camera or drone to go through the vents to see if we could get a peek up and get actual eyes in the penthouse. So, I mean, it's like a 50-50 chance that she's in there when D arrives.
Odd or even?
Even.
You are indeed there when the door opens and D lets himself in. Now, because you're also interested in seeing if Peter can get you a drone or some other kind of camera to go through the vent system, Peter, what does that look like for you?
I'd send back, like, how big is it? Are we trying
I'd give
to
him dimensions.
Sure.
And a picture.
Are we trying to go up levels or just...
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it goes up levels. Because that was one of the first things that I checked, and it looked like it would access the level, so it would need some vertical capability.
Okay. Peter would probably get his stealth drone set up. It's pretty small. It's got, the little helicopter blades, so it can, move, well, not blades, but, little lift systems.
Right.
So it can go up and down and semi-forward pretty well, depending on how big the vents are. He'll have to be really careful flying it through there.
So now, are you going to deliver that? Or are you waiting for Mari to come get it from you? Or did you have
I would send it with.
I have a balcony, and you have a drone.
also fair.
Yeah.
Wink,
say,
wink, hint, hint.
It could also have been sent with D.
It could have, but also,
Yeah.
I mean, depending on when it was all happening, totally could have just popped in. She brings it in from the balcony, and
Yeah, as you enter Indy, you do see the door closing as this drone's motors, slow down. It's very quiet. You almost don't even hear it as Mari's bringing it in from outside.
oh, here to do security.
Yeah. You catch a stray, or is that Peter's?
Oh, it's Peter's. It's for the vents. See if we can get eyes inside.
Great.
You kind of glance out the window and you can see one of Peter's larger drones very faintly. It's kind of hard to see, kind of whiz by.
Yeah, and then he's gonna take off all of the various layers of garments so that he's now kind of more in his typical attire, and then he'll plug his laptop into the Ethernet port, log in through a VPN, and begin his hacking.
Nice. So let's just do a intelligence technology roll. And while you're doing that, in my head, when you were changing your outfit, it does totally look like, it's just a one piece Velcro ripoff. And then you're just in your...
And then you're just in your suit.
I mean, it's just a lot of oversized denim jackets and other. So it isn't a Velcro ripoff, but it's kind of more like, imagine a teenager walking in the house and then just taking
shedding
off clothes.
Right.
It's just kind of more like that. Okay.
I think Jeremy was insinuating you were a stripper.
Well.
Yeah, because strippers wear oversized clothing.
Oh, the rip-off thing.
Right.
He can insinuate that, and I could no, just kidding. I got 5 successes.
I've known Ryan for a long time.
How intimately?
5 successes. Perfect. Completely ignoring that question. What is it that you're trying to do exactly? Are you trying to essentially tie into the security system so you can access cameras, or?
So basically what the perk does is it gives me access that you wouldn't normally. I can try and read it again if I can find it, but basically it's it gives you unrestricted access to technology and bypassing systems. So the goal is to bypass any of the firewall and security systems that are set up locally, plant a worm so that I can then access them from outside.
Sure.
The network.
Yeah, so you get all connected to the network with whatever outside access you're going to use, whether it's a laptop or whatever. And you notice with your 5 successes that you could control the elevator to go to the penthouse.
I will make note that I can do that. I'll let Mari know. I can get the elevator up without a key.
That's good. Still gonna have to figure out how to get in the room. Wait, does the elevator open into the room? Because it's the penthouse?
So, you would just kind of walk out of the elevator.
No, I know. I didn't know if it was still a hallway situation so that if, stuff was left, it could be left outside the door, or if it literally opens directly into the penthouse, because different hotels have
Yeah.
either style.
what Peter's reconnaissance found is that you kind of had an idea of what the penthouse was going to look like, both from doing some research on the building, doing the 3D walkthrough of what the hotel's website has, stuff like that. A lot of refurbishing has happened. It looks like there have been extra security measures installed. The rooms have been rearranged. It's kind of like a large room. There are some like areas that are. This is mostly from the video that you've caught from the drone. You can see that there's like some separations, but they're not like walls. It's like, oh, here's a barrier of plants. There's like, a planter that has some like tall plants like growing up or whatever, stuff like that. The elevator itself does go only to that room, but there is a little entrance that has double doors that can be closed. You haven't seen them closed, even when Karsh is by himself, but they technically can be closed. And it seems like, Ryan, from what you're seeing, you don't have access to any of that. It seems like it's separate, but you do manage to like get some files that look like they were older from when the penthouse was owned by the hotel instead of like owned by Karsh. And it looks like the doors themselves do have electronic locks. Any other questions as far as that stuff goes?
Other
I
questions
do, yeah.
is go ahead.
Yeah, from this deep in, my expectation is that it makes a lot of sense why there wouldn't be access for things like the security and the locks and all that jazz, and potentially even I could see having a different like alarm system and stuff like that. But this floor is getting power, right? And it's getting utilities and stuff like that. And so that's the vector that I would look at coming in on. Like if there's, what options are there to potentially
Can
cut power
he
to the...
set off the sprinkler system?
Can I set off the sprinkler system?
I mean, magnesia powder, we got
Right.
some, so I'm just asking, can we set off the sprinkler system?
It, like, as you're going through it, D, it does look like you can set off the sprinkler system for the building, and so you're kind of like looking through and trying to verify. You were unsure on whether the sprinkler system in the penthouse is connected. You can see the diagrams of where it used to be, but you don't see a zone. You can't be like, oh, turn on the sprinklers in the penthouse. You don't see that option.
And then what about like access to just instead of like being able to turn on the sprinklers, just turn all the water on, right? Like just push the water from the rest of like those sorts of things where it's like pushing water from the rest of the building to the point that all the pipes burst sort of situation in the very top floor. So I'm not actually like basically trying to manipulate this void zone
right,
without doing anything to that zone, right?
Yeah. As far as you can tell, you can turn off the water to the building, but you're not seeing anything as far as pressurizing to that extent.
Okay. I will. That's all my questions.
Okay. Jason, as your drone, as Peter's drone, does a quick last, like, whiz around the building, you do notice that there are also some solar panels. And now that D is in the system, these solar panels are not part of the building's plans. They're not part of its control. So there is a good expectation there that they are connected to the upper floor. So whether you cut part of the building, if it will completely remove it, you're unsure at this point because it could have solar backup or could be running completely off of solar.
Okay. I will pass that along that there's solar panels up on the top.
Have I found roof access?
You have not found roof access. No, wait. You did find roof access. It goes past the penthouse and goes up to the roof. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, when she hears about the solar panels, continuing with her just forays, she's gonna go investigate the roof and the solar panels up there and see if there's an easy way to disconnect them, or if there's easier, like, would it be easier for her to drop down from the roof to the penthouse patio instead of climbing up?
Yeah.
Or just what she can survey from what's on the roof.
So let's do a roll here. Let's do intelligence and investigation.
Okay. I'm really so great at this. Ooh, 2 successes, which is really good because I only roll 2 dice.
Nice. You get up there, you see them. They're kind of set in, like there's like a little lip, and so you kind of have to be like walking around, and you end up seeing them. And there is like the modules they feed into that you could pretty easily sabotage in some way, whether it's just directly disconnecting them or probably with the guidance of one of the other tech people setting up something for them, like a timer with some device or something like that to turn it off. Definitely possible, yeah. And you kind of peer over the edge, you see it goes pretty straight down, but you can see that there are like the lips that go in where each floors on the upper level where you have your balcony, and then it's just glass. The lower levels don't have those balconies, so
Okay.
you can't just drop. It's like a drop and in, so more of a swing.
So going up would probably be better because then I wouldn't be seen from their windows.
Definitely a possibility.
She's just trying to
Sure.
take a look.
Nice. So while this is all going on, Billy, Ray's hanging out with you. You two are discussing, sabotaging the vehicle, getting the C4. Oh, that's not going to happen. No car bombs. At least nothing that you can order from your contact. You could always try to build something. Peter might be able to help you with it if he has the time. What are you doing?
I think Billy mentions to Ray, hey, I could use some help. If there's anything you can make happen with this car, do your worst. I got to pick up a package, the munitions for tonight, and a little something for myself, and then I need to link up with the others in the penthouse. Or not the penthouse, the room that Mari rented.
Yeah, I got some tricks I could probably do. And he'll go and kind of root through your bag, pull out some tools. Do you need these right now?
No.
All right. He'll head out. And he was with you when you were finding out the information about the vehicle, so he already knows which vehicle it is and all of those.
Firework in a tailpipe. All I'm saying.
Just like a sparkler?
Well, a little more than that, but something that's just heat activated. They have the no fire start, just heat activated
Nice.
fireworks that are supposed to be, safer because they can't be accidentally set on fire. Like they're the,
Only purpose.
and Just put it in the tailpipe. It's
Right.
fine.
All right, so you need to go get your munitions. Is there anything else you wanted to do, Billy?
Billy wants to rent a suit.
Okay. What kind of suit are you going for?
The nicest thing that he can get on zero notice with the money that he has in his pocket.
Sure. Let's do...
Not like a tux or anything, just
Right.
like an actual suit.
Where is it? Do. I'm not even going to have you roll for it because I can't find... It's called finance. There it is. Do a finance... Let's do wits with that. You're thinking about your best options, trying to guess what's going to be your most successful route. For some reason I was
Single
looking for
success.
wealth. Single success. So you find a place that's open. It's like about an hour away. I don't think you all, I think you like drove in through an Uber or something. You don't have a vehicle, right? So you can taxi over, you can Uber over, you can probably, you could bus over. What's your planned route?
Probably taxi over.
Okay. You taxi over. It's in this like little strip mall. The sign is like long ago faded. You're pretty sure it says like something about like party suit rental or something. And you go in, has that like smell of mothballs, old fabric. But as you turn, you look up, and on the wall, on the mannequin, is exactly what you're looking for. Tell me what it looks like.
It's a black suit, not like super deep black, more like, just on the edge of like a deep gray, but it is a black suit, single-breasted, with just a white dress shirt and some black shoes to fill it out. I think the suit itself is unremarkable. The remarkable thing is, what are the chances that like it's actually gonna fit him? It actually looks like a pretty decent match for his body type.
So you get the clerk to come over and take it down. You try it on. Sure enough, you put it on, and it's like a good 5 inches too long in both the legs and the arms. But being long is easy to fix. Taking it out is more difficult. So you spend a little time as they make some adjustments, hem it in, and you have your suit. You do notice it clashes pretty heavily with your fanny pack.
Well, the fanny pack is on its way out. I'm expecting to pick up a duffel with the weapons.
Nice. So later that evening, you stroll back into where you were staying with Ray, wearing your new suit. You have your new duffel. Is there anything else that you need to do or know?
Just asking, Ray, are you planning to link up with us?
It takes a little bit, but when the message comes through, Ray's like, yeah, I'll be there in a bit.
All right. Thanks. Good
And
luck,
then there's
buddy.
like ... like he's typing, and then it just disappears. All right. What is the plan? Throw it at me.
I think there's one last thing that Mari wanted to try and check out,
Sure.
and that is the doors and the patio of the actual penthouse. And so probably with the assistance of Jason, who is tracking a time when there's like nobody there, just going up and trying to figure out what kind of security or lock system is on the balcony patio access.
So for this, let's have Peter roll a wits awareness.
Okay. Just from the drone?
Yes.
Okay, so for awareness, I can replace, in that case, with intelligence,
Nice.
science, or my drone. Since this is stealth, I'll also use my desperation dice.
Nice. Just as a reminder, you are at 4 danger and 3 desperation at this point.
Yep, so that'll be 8 successes.
Amazing. So you do another pass by where you're reviewing footage of what you've done, and you're kind of looking at it, and it's at first it's a little difficult to see. Like on Amari's floor, you can see the doors, you can see the sliding doors. One of the penthouses, or one of the suites, actually has like some doors that slide into the walls and opens up into a larger, whereas Mari's just kind of has like a sliding door. And the level above, you don't see things like that, and so you're kind of like having to really zoom in and go over your footage, and you're like trying to enhance as much as you can, and you realize that so there aren't any handles that you see, but there are definitely panels of glass that appear to, much like the other floors or the other suites, retract into the walls and kind of open up into a much larger opening. Looks like most of the wall on either side of the penthouse can open up. So the east and west sides can both open up.
Okay.
As far as how that works, it looks like it's remote. Or there's something inside, some controller inside, is your guess.
So you're saying that like the just the glass panels that look like windows can retract to open up into the penthouse?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to mute for just a moment. Discuss what you'd like to do.
That would be the best thing we could do, honestly, if we could get it opened up and get him out of the coffin.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the other option is if we could get there during the day when he's in the coffin and just set a trap for him. Then we wouldn't even have to fight him.
I think that no matter what we do, we need to have an understanding that is probably not going to work the way that we think, and we need to have some sort of mitigation. And for me, the kind of the outstanding question is: do we want to try and create cover by drawing a lot of attention in general from the city to the Intercontinental, right? Like set off the sprinklers, like have the police and fire come, like have a large scale evacuation, or have, some activity kind of central there. So there's a ton of stuff going in, and maybe we can kind of slip in and through the chaos. Or do we want to try and distract kind of the city forces, right? Like we don't want to be fighting vampires and the police, and have them be further away so that we have more time in the case something goes wrong. I can make either happen likely, and I just need to know what we want to do. But I think that one of those two things needs to happen.
I think if we can get people out of the hotel while we're up there fighting him, less people to notice. Right? Like, won't have people one floor under him hearing shouts and screams, depending on how thick the floor is, whatever.
So I think the only way that we could do that is if there was some sort of evacuation order.
Yeah.
Well, hear me out. Could we do kind of both? As in, you set off something to distract city services, but then also maybe shortly after set off the sprinklers and like the fire alarms, which in hotels everybody like exits and goes across the street. But because the city services have been pinged somewhere away, other bodies aren't, entering the building like immediately. We have a buffer zone of just us and them in the hotel.
Yeah, I could try. I could also see about potentially rigging it so that there's an evacuation and like maybe sprinklers go off, like whatever, but not have it automatically trigger police response or like first responders. And so yeah, that's what I'll do, and then I'm gonna be doing what I do best, which is shooting from very far away.
I think if there's a way that we can get in and get the balconies open, because we don't know what kind of glass they've put in place either, so that gives some line of shooting for D. Because he has some line of sight. I mean, it is partially like reflective glass, but having stuff that areas that he knows that his bullet will be able to pass through, I think would assist. Do we know if this guy can fly? I feel like it's a really important question.
You haven't seen him fly.
I know, that was just Mari asking the group in general, not necessarily Carly asking the GM. That was Mari just being like, well, if we open up these doors, can he just fly away?
I mean, I assume the sun will still burn him.
I mean, yeah.
So, who knows?
What I would really love is if we could get in there and quietly, set up opening the doors, maybe set a magnesium powder trap that like triggers when the coffin, like we just, dismantle the pneumatics on the coffin so that it opens and the powder like immediately falls on him and lights him on fire. And then presuming he still survives, we have access to do other things. That's kind of what I would like to see happen. I don't know if there's any additionals besides that you guys are.
I know Billy had a good plan of trying to block off the stairway with something, so he couldn't at least run down that.
Yeah, but it looks like he has his own. I mean, there's no access to the main stairwell. And from what you saw, it looks like he has his own, and I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find that. But we could do that if we got in there.
Yeah.
Since you know where it's located, that could be part of the prep before we.
I mean, that could be how you guys get up into there as well if you don't want the elevator. If it's easier to get to that from the outside.
Well, I haven't found the other stairwell.
Yeah, I'm betting it goes
So-
underground somewhere.
That would be just more time, I think, of looking around. But
Billy, anything that you want to add?
Am I present?
I think this was the after we got back together plan.
My only question on this is, are you together, or is this like a phone call or a video chat, or how is that all working out?
I think
Go ahead.
I don't think D would be there. I think it might be like video chat or you all.
yeah, I mean, Mari's at the hotel, so
Sounds
I
like it's a
think
phone call.
hers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a standard phone call.
Yeah, so Billy, you're back in your room waiting for Ray to return during this phone call.
Could you repeat the question?
You got any ideas on what we want to do here with this guy? How we're going to take him out? I know you guys wanted to do it quiet, so I got Vlad prepped, but you know, that's the last resort, it sounds like.
Mari, what was the entry route that you preferred?
Well, I think the only one we have direct access to right now is the elevator. But I just propose that we come through the elevator probably at a time when he's not awake, or maybe nobody else is up there, since humans don't seem to be up there, so during the day. And then we, stealthily as we can, set up a trap for him, which would involve opening the doors to the balconies and blocking the stairwell, and maybe setting a trap on the coffin. Because it's so far we don't have any other, as far as we know, reliable access to the penthouse.
Are you confident you can get into that pneumatic fucking beast of a coffin?
I mean, it's pneumatics. That's easy to fuck up. I mean, truly above table, pneumatics are one of the easiest systems to just, even if you don't know what you're doing, you just poke a hole somewhere and that's... So she's like, I can't guarantee anything, but if I can get access, then yes, I could fuck up the coffin. But also, I'm just imagining him, and once we've set everything up, if I can't get into the coffin, what's he gonna do if I knock on it? Hello? And, there's always the plans of, shoving it off the balcony.
I thought you wanted this to be quiet.
I did. That's like Plan Z. That's Plan Z. I got like a billion other plans for that, but that's like...
Honestly, it'd be nice if we could lock him into it, just drag the damn coffin off into the desert somewhere, but that's,
Yeah, but getting the coffin out would be a whole thing on its own. I think we're less likely to draw at least attention to ourselves. Maybe not necessarily the hotel and like a fire happening there or something.
How many drones do you have?
Not too worried about attention.
I've got two.
My baseline assumption is that any first responders that show up to this particular place are gonna be corrupt. They're gonna be in the pocket of the prince. So I don't think they'd do us any good anyway. And frankly, I don't expect, if there's this, what did Onryo call it, this masquerade that they're supposed to be maintaining, I don't know why they would call anyone in the first place. So
Anyone they don't.
I'm not
control
sure
anyway.
I'm not sure that there's an upside for anyone to try to get other shit involved. And as far as the other part, we have a single entrance that we know about. It seems
Well,
like
we
the
know about
decision-
other entrances. We just don't have official access.
Billy,
That
the
makes sense.
door slams open
Shit.
and then slams shut, and you hear the rattling of the chain being dragged across from the inside.
One sec. Ray, is that you?
Yeah, hang on, just catching my breath.
You okay there?
He walks in. He's just like pouring sweat. Yeah, so I went over and I was messing with those vehicles, and it's like daytime, right? So I wasn't expecting anything, and this like guy in a suit was standing next to the vehicle when I got out from underneath it and started asking me questions, and so I kicked him in the groin and ran. I ran a lot. I tried to not lead him back here, but that happened.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. Why don't you grab a glass of water, and
One
Back
Michelob
up.
Ultra coming up.
we might want to think about accelerating the time frame on this, because I think Ray's attempt to bomb the car got made.
Well, I can move when you guys are ready to move.
All right, we'll be over in a minute. Give me your ring if you need anything else.
Yeah. So I think Mari will just start. So it's daytime right now, right? It's still
It is.
daytime.
It's about 3
Okay.
hours before the sun goes down.
Great. Yeah. So I think she's just gonna start setting, getting herself ready and setting up actually a just as a just in case, setting up a a rope that goes up to the penthouse patio, so that
Gotcha, so,
if she needs to or somebody needs to, it's a way to get down that isn't all the way down.
Sure. Sure. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. East or west side? Oh, sorry. Actually, you don't have a choice. West
It's
side.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, your
I was
your
like,
apartment's
I think
on the-
my patio's only on one
Right.
side.
Um,
I was very confused, but she's gonna try and do it fairly close to the edge of the building,
mhm.
so that it's not super visible
Obvious,
from somebody
right.
else
Cool.
looking out.
All right. Well, as you all gather your stuff, your various bits and bobs and explosives and arsenals, and head to meet, we're going to go to break before we get into the end of this. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's appreciated. We'll be back in, we'll call it within 10 minutes. We'll aim for a little shorter, and we'll see you when we get back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out while we took our little break there and dove into some rules we haven't really had the chance to use up until now. So we're still looking for a couple of answers, but we're going to dive back into the game while we do so. However, during the break, Jason rolled for the stealth drone that was going through the vent to try and see if there was any way to look into the penthouse. With an amazing 8 successes, Peter finds takes you a little bit, and this would have been earlier in the day today. You do find a vent that goes up, and so you fly your drone up and you slide it along they're very wide but very small, and so you don't have a lot of leeway up and down. And with that amazing roll, you just very calmly drive it towards what appears to be a vent that goes out over, like, looking at it takes you a second and you're like, okay, so this is above the doorway from the elevator. So below you is the double doors that would close. Behind that is the very small room that the elevator empties into, and then the elevator. Ahead of you, you can see through the slats of this vent that there is a very nicely, if somewhat sparsely decorated penthouse, and you can see the coffin, you can see various couches, what looks like a wet bar that's set up. There is a large TV screen that currently has like the news playing, and it is showing like footage of the Onryo building burning and kind of like the interviews being rehashed and stuff like that. How long do you want to watch for here?
Well, I'm gonna just land it quietly and leave it there, and just not, going to use it to check in as we get closer, like, use it for audio, going,
right.
Oh, they're up, the hunters are on the way, we see them in the lobby, et cetera, just kind of using it to spy as needed.
Sure.
So I'll leave that one there, just permanently, effectively.
Perfect. All right, so from what I gather, those of you who are going to the building or are already at the building are Mari, Billy, and Ray.
Peter will be heading over.
Where is Peter going to be set up?
He's going to have to meet up with them because there may be needed some support tech support up there.
Gotcha. So you are planning on going in then?
Yeah. So Peter, before he goes though, he's going to set up a wire transfer schedule for Sarah Livingston. Everything in the account for next week. He's going to text Angel, say, hey, those guys are causing trouble. We're going to see if we can clear it up. If they don't get back with you, it's been real. And then he's going to set up his phone to look like it's a spam call and dial up his brother, hoping it goes directly to voicemail. So he's kind of spoofing the number to make it look like it's a spammer. Assuming it goes to voicemail, you're like, hey, bro, I made some enemies out here. If you don't hear back from me, I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused. Take care of the girls for me.
Perfect.
And then he'll gather up the mats and call up Billy because, he's carrying in some of the stuff, give him the glove and probably the pistol. So he's not, carrying the pistol on him, obviously. I suspect he's going to be the most obvious coming into the building, the most recognizable. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Is there anything you're doing to disguise yourself?
The beard and everything, like maybe, what the hell? He'll cut the beard off and shave and try to look a little different, but it's probably not going to be a major disguise for him.
Okay. Any other prep that anyone's doing? And are you meeting in Carly's suite? Sorry, not Carly, Mari's suite. Or are you meeting elsewhere?
I had planned to meet in Mari's room.
Okay. All right, Rail move along with you. And meanwhile, about a block away, D is getting set up on his rifle. Is there anything else that you're preparing for?
He'll have, yeah. So his rifle set up. He has his laptop set up into the security system, and he also has, since he's acting as kind of a spotter for himself, he has kind of a binocular set, like a tripoded binocular setup, or scope setup as well. He'll be constantly scanning in the scope once all of his equipment is set up, just to kind of get an idea of like, and probably has been for several days, but just to get an idea of like the typical kind of like environment around the hotel and the surrounding buildings, and then especially in the like 4 hours leading up to, well, I guess now, right? Like, because we're accelerating, really looking to ensure that there's not like, he doesn't see other snipers or anything out of the ordinary.
Sure.
Other than that, he's just waiting.
Let's have you do an awareness wits check just as you're watching.
Okay. That is 3 successes.
Nice. If anything pops up, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. So as the 4 of you meet in Mari's room, tell me what your plan of engagement is here.
I think we're taking the elevator up, right?
Yeah, elevator up. I think maybe split into separate objectives of blocking the stairwell, figuring out how to get the sliding doors open, and checking out the coffin. Seeing if there's any way to fuck that up or trap it upon opening various stuff. I feel like the coffin's probably on me,
Okay.
but as far as where anybody else wants to go.
I could probably help with the coffin. It's got electronics. Maybe we can do something with that. Before we go up, I'll check. I've got the drone set up there, watching the room, see if they are up and about, so we know at least what we're walking into.
Have you seen any vampires walking around in there?
So since I put it up there, I went to stand by just to keep the battery quiet, or battery not wearing out. So I haven't checked back much in yet. I wanted to have it ready and available just in case. I got the other drone set and standby on the plan blow shit up if everything goes wrong.
I think my first order of the day is going to be anticipating more than 0 minion vampires.
Yeah.
And using the shotgun to get that number down to 0.
You were in the security system for the hotel. Has there been any alerts or anything that you can tell, D? I'll call him up, obviously, for this.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that at this point we are using our comms, right? Like
I mean, I would hope so, but...
So we aren't constantly dialing people, but either way...
Right.
No, I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary, no.
All right. Well, I will check in with the drone and see if he is up and awake, or if there's anything else going on in that room that I can hear.
Go ahead and make me a wits awareness
Again, this
D.
This
This is D.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry. This one's a separate one than the other one because it's not through your sniper rifle, just so you know.
4.
4. You're kind of going back and forth between the sniper rifle and looking at your computer monitor, watching, kind of clicking through the security cameras, watching to make sure there's nothing like weird happening. You don't see any rush of people like after they go in. There's not like a group that all of a sudden shows up and goes up to the penthouse or something like that. But you're watching the lobby, and that guy that was like watching you the other night, he's there, and then you glance over and he's gone. And so you like lean over real quick, you rewind the footage, and you do see him like reach up. He says something. It's hard to see his like mouth, but you can tell it's moving. And then he walks towards the elevator and gets on.
I will say penthouse security has moved towards the elevator. He's in communication with someone. While kind of I'm at my computer and kind of stepped away from the rifle, I'm going to kind of set up some subroutines that I can just kind of fire off if necessary, like cut the power, like several different kind of like, cut the power to the building, which might be everything but the top floor, lock the elevator either at the penthouse or not at the penthouse. I think like have those two options.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn on all the sprinklers, turn off the auto call to the fire department. I think that's probably...
I think Mari would ask if there's any way for you to trick the person inside that the door is opening at the penthouse, but it opens at our level, so we can maybe get the jump on this guy.
I'll try. Can I try?
I'm not sure I understand.
Assuming this, you said he went into the elevator. I'm not sure how much time had elapsed since you went into the elevator.
Gotcha.
So her idea is that, you know, the elevator doors open and he thinks he's on the penthouse, but it's actually us ready to try and take him out before he knows what's happening.
Ryan, have D do a intelligence technology.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes because there was a crit.
Amazing. You quick go over, you're already in the system, you've kind of already planned for things like this, and like stopping it on different levels, you're like, yeah, I can do that. You just like reach over and quick do it. You see as you were doing it, you kind of like click through the security camera footage, and sure enough, he's like standing there like waiting for the door to open.
Yeah, Mari's moved over and is ready to just pounce on this guy the second the doors open.
So Mari runs out of the suite that you're all in. Is anyone else going with her?
I can go. I'm not sure how much help I'll be.
Okay. Real quick, I just feel like this is a thing that Peter probably would have checked when bringing up, you know, that there was somebody going up to the penthouse. You quick go over and you look at your video drone, like your stealth drone footage, and there is a very large fellow, long black hair, thick beard. Now that you can see him in like full color and on fairly high resolution footage, kind of dark olive skin, but it has like this kind of like sickly pallor to it, almost to the point where he looks stone like he's just like he's a carving, but he's moving around, very large, and he's wearing essentially like a what looks like a very fine suit minus the jacket. He just is wearing like the button up and the slacks, and looking around you can see hanging on the walls are like all sorts of medieval weaponry, swords, some halberds, various crossbows, like all of these things that
Nice.
you wouldn't really necessarily expect. And he is talking with a kind of mousy haired fellow. He's smaller, kind of slick looking. If Mari were looking at the footage, she would recognize him, but she's not. And then Mari's out of the room, Billy's out of the room, Dee follows, and then you kind of catch up with them.
Well,
as
Dee's across the street, so Ray follows.
Ray is what I said. You all think I said Dee. Hang on. Subterfuge roll. 17 successes. Excellent. Ray follows as you hear the ding and the elevator slides open soundlessly. In front of you, you see Mari. You see a fairly tall fellow, spiky black hair. You've kind of noticed him in the lobby a couple times, so you know who this is. And he looks
Have
a little
I noticed him as
confused.
a vampire or as a human?
He's been out during the day, like when sunlight's coming into the lobby. So unless
Great.
they did something to the windows in the lobby, you're pretty sure he's human.
Yeah, I'm just going for like a knockout.
Oh, what is
Just-
this? And then you go to hit him.
Just
So
full-
do a
yeah,
go ahead and do a
full-
brawl
full
for me.
just knockout. Okay, so since I now know that this is a thing, can I add my desperation dice?
Sure.
This is physical conflict while on the hunt. It doesn't have to be the query. Strength, correct? Or dexterity?
So you're doing a strength and brawl.
Brawl. Okay. And adding me 3. Oops, I dropped a dice. Okay. Yeah.
I am shocked the cat stayed on the bed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes.
Nice. He goes like there's this look of surprise on his face as you go to hit him, and it almost looks like he's going to dodge out of the way. Like he's surprisingly fast, but he's just not quick enough. Are you like clocking him? Are you like throw punching him? What's your...
Oh, I'm going for like temple strike knockout.
Gotcha. All right, so you do hit him. He crashes into the side of the elevator. Kind of shakes his head, pulls off his glasses, which are just like shattered from your blow, blinks it away. There's a little bit of blood from where the glass cut him, and he kind of shakes his head and takes a fighting stance.
Yeah, she's gonna
Right.
keep going unless somebody else is
Behind
interjecting.
you, is Billy doing anything?
He is shouldering his shotgun
Okay.
and pulling the trigger.
Oh, but so loud.
Okay.
There's 4 other doors on this floor.
What do you think they're going
3
to
other
do?
doors.
doors.
Hall to figure out what's going on?
There is
I mean, yes.
there is a
Humans
little bit of
are
a danger
stupid.
because of where, like, essentially they're both in the mouth of this elevator, right? And you're essentially going in to shoot him. Is that like, are you trying to shoot around Mari, or are you just like firing at both of them?
No, I'm not firing at both of them.
Okay, it's a fair question.
It is a fair question. I just without a battle map, I
Yeah,
rely on
totally.
your narration to tell me what's going on.
So you can like kind of squeeze in, and you're gonna like aim around Mari essentially to try and shoot this guy,
It's really tight spaces in here right now.
but it is doable.
Yes, I was just saying it is very tight spaces.
Just don't roll a bunch of ones. Let me know what you get. I rolled a 1. And a crit.
3 successes.
Nice. He sees you coming, and he kind of starts dodging out of the way, and so when the shotgun goes off, it catches like a good chunk of wood and just rips it off the side of the elevator. But you notice that in that you also saw the spray of a little bit of blood from his side and a whole bunch of like suit and shirt, and the white shirt that he's wearing rapidly starts spreading with a red stain. He kind of grips it. He is going to try and punch Mari in the face.
Okay, so I roll a...
So you can either dodge or strike back. And so if you dodge, you essentially take the damage that is the difference between your dodge and what he rolls. So if he rolls over your dodge by 2, you're going to take 2. If you roll more than his strike, then you take nothing. If you want to hit back, whoever rolls the highest takes no damage, and the other person takes the difference. Okay.
And I will add my desperation dice again.
He's having a hard time. He's very surprised. He's actually kind of nearsighted, and I rolled so many ones.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes.
Nice. All right. You see him like lunge for you. You expected it. You grab his arm, pull him into your punch as you like jam upwards into his throat, and you can just feel the trachea crush and blood spurts out of his mouth. His eyes go wide. He crumples to the floor, and even though he's not dead yet, he will be momentarily as he chokes on his own fluids.
Yeah, I mean, then Mari is going to take a quick peek out in the hall to see if anybody has come to investigate the shotgun that
is a
went
good
off.
question. Let's do, there's 3 other doors. We're going to do odds are yes, evens are no. The furthest door on your right, so the one kind of catty corner from where your door is, opens, and this like little old lady kind of peeks her head out.
Can she see into the elevator?
It doesn't look like she can see the guy, no, but she does see.
I'm gonna step out cursing, like I just like dropped something on my foot, like really hard,
Gotcha.
something really heavy or hard, because it can make
Subterfuge.
a similar noise, like unless you know,
right?
It can make a similar like loud noise.
This is a manipulation subterfuge roll.
Great.
She's an old lady.
I'm going to add my extra dice from being stunning, because people believe me because I'm pretty.
And don't forget we have advantages. Go ahead.
Am I not standing in the hall holding a shotgun?
You are.
I thought you said he stepped into the elevator to get...
It's still within view, but you are...
That's what I asked. That's why I asked.
Let me finish. You are stepping around to try and block this with this subterfuge. So you're going to need
I asked if you
4 successes to block what's going on.
I'm going to use one of the advantages
Sure.
that's been given to us. And I rolled 3 successes, so 4. I got 4.
4 is what you need.
I rolled 4 dice, and I got 3.
Nice. And using your,
Because stunning and pretty.
Billy, what do you do with that shotgun?
I think I just sort of, I'm holding it sort of to the side, like right inside the elevator door, and just flipping off the old lady and like, mind your business.
Nice. So as you do that, you can hear the guy next to you. He like reaches up. He's like trying to grab your pants, and he's just like gurgling, and there's this like kind of crunchy wetness coming from him, and then his hand just hits the side of the elevator, and his eyes glass over. The door shuts to the woman's suite.
I have a
Whether or
question.
not she believed you is hard to tell, but she didn't come out and ask anything.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a escape latch in this elevator?
I feel like there has to be.
Because
Yes.
I am imagining a scenario where we prop up the dead body and we're up on top of, full Die Hard moment where it
Well, I was gonna
pings
say,
up
are
at
you
the top
gonna
of
like
the
put it in?
penthouse.
Like he's gonna be on a chair with like a note.
I don't know about that because I don't know if we even have time for that. But just full like prop the body up in the center and we're hiding up on top of the elevator.
Ryan, not Billy. Sorry, D. D's kind of like watching all of this in the hallway security camera, and you're watching to see if any phone calls are going through from the suites to the front desk or to 911 or something.
I'll try and make all the phones on that floor have a busy dial tone.
Sure. Do a intelligence technology.
We don't have to do that.
Perfect.
That was just a thought in my head.
It doesn't look like anyone is calling out or trying to, but if they do try to, you have effectively disabled the phones on that level.
And maybe I'll just for like my own twisted sense of humor, like have my own voice on it and be like, "We're sorry, the Intercontinental phones are broken," but trying to be a robot, so it's like, "We're sorry," with the odd clipping, but
Right.
like not a voice actor. So
You just take a recording of Billy saying, "Fuck you, mind your own business," and play that back through the phone system. Okay. What do you do?
We better move. Also, the guy upstairs is awake, and there was someone talking to him. He probably knows we're coming.
Take us to the penthouse.
All right.
You
Better
wanna
roll.
button.
hide? Might give us a little bit of a drop, even if they know we're coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do I, from the plans that I had, is there space above the elevator at the top floor to hide in? Like if it...
there is no security camera in there and no one has checked it out. So, good
I would
question.
say safety-wise, if they have an exit on the top of the elevator, there should be space on
There
every
should be.
floor for somebody to get out.
Like you can assume that there's probably the mechanics, like the machinery and everything, but there's probably space like that somebody could be in, but there's no way for you to know that right now.
Billy is not an athlete. He's not an acrobat. He's not going to do a fucking front flip through the ceiling and land and open up with his shotgun. He's just going to let the door open and see what's on the other side.
And unfortunately, I definitely know that
Terrible idea.
Peter's also not going to
Yeah.
drop down through the ceiling. So
I just thought Peter would come up after.
fair.
It was like 30 seconds later.
All right, so tell me what the plan is.
I mean, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
be in the elevator. Good.
Mario will hide up there. She doesn't want to be the target of a guy that knows we're coming
Okay.
when the door's open.
So you go in and you look, and sure enough, there's like a little panel. You flip it open, jump up there. Ray, Ray's gonna get up there with you. He climbs up in there.
I'm gonna leave the panel open so that I don't have to like reopen
Sure.
it when I want to exit. But yeah.
And it gives Billy and Peter essentially enough space on either side of the door. It doesn't give you... Peter's the hardest one to really get full cover from it. Like, Billy can kind of scooch up in the corner, but either side has enough space for you to get at least some cover as the doors open.
Yeah,
Is that your plan?
Yeah, I was going to be off to the side. As we start going up, I'm going to start playing the sounds on my phone.
Gotcha. The Ray was...
Yeah, I don't know if if it'll trigger him, what. We'll see if it does anything.
You will press the button when they say to press the button.
What?
You will press the button to get them up to the penthouse.
Perfect.
To press the button.
I will check on the drone as we're
Sure.
going up to see if he's like waiting right outside the door to ambush anybody coming in type thing.
I'm over here like trying to figure out how to say it without like...
Yeah.
Are you going to check the drone? You look in the drone and it does look like they're looking towards the elevator. They're talking. Does your drone have audio capabilities?
It does.
Their voices are very soft, and so you kind of have to like turn up the volume to catch what they're hearing or catch what they're saying. But you do hear the kind of mousy-haired fellow. He says, should I make a call? Should I get some more people over here? What do you think? And the big guy is like, yeah, go ahead and make that call. And you see the mousy-haired guy on the cell phone as the elevator starts to rise.
Okay.
And then you see the big guy walk over to the wall, and he pulls off a really long, it's like a really long pole staff with like this hooked blade on the end. And he just like kind of starts walking towards the elevator with it.
All right. Whatever we do, it's going to be quick. They're calling in help.
The elevator stops. There's no ding. It just stops. There's that like moment where it kind of hiccups a little and then it settles. And it very quietly opens. Peter, you can, from your vantage point, you can hear the heavy footsteps coming towards you. You can see into the small room that leads into the penthouse. You don't see anything quite yet. And Billy, if you're like pushed up against the wall, you also can kind of see the opposite wall of the penthouse, but you don't see anybody. What do you do?
Based on where I saw they were standing from the drone, can I give an indication of which side they're on?
Yeah, so you're like kind of looking at the drone as he's stepping underneath the vent and he disappears. He's pretty dead center.
All right. So it's like right in front of where the doors will be.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. You'll indicate, make motions. It's going to be right in front.
Who's going to make the first move? Or shall we roll for initiative?
So the elevator doors are open, and what doors are you talking about, Jason?
Can you give us a little bit more detail there?
Yeah, so there's the elevator doors open, and there's like a short hallway. It's more of like just a square room that ends in open doors that you had seen in the footage that Peter showed you. The open doors turn in from... They're essentially... Each door is against the inner wall of that square room right now because they're fully open. Does that make sense?
So it's like a little wet room before the main.
Yeah. So really it's less that there are doors in the way, but there are doors that could be closed, that are about 10 feet away as Karsh walks under the camera.
Okay.
Peter gestures to where he thinks he is. Do you do anything, Billy?
I think Billy's advancing into the penthouse sort of as best he can.
Okay.
Just trying to be alert and again looking for anyone he doesn't recognize. There are no friendlies on this floor that didn't come up with him.
Are you going to shoot any non-friendly people?
Probably.
Okay. So as you step from cover, you see about 15 feet away from you this very tall, imposing figure, long black hair, big, thick black beard, stony, somewhat kind of like, if you were to guess, like Middle Eastern, but his skin is like, it looks marbly, and he's holding a halberd. And do you want to pull that trigger?
Light him up. That's what the dragon's breath rounds are for.
Make it so. He's too close to try and attack back, so he's going to dodge.
He's too close to attack back?
He's too far to...
Okay,
he's too far away to attack back.
I was really confused. I was like, what do you mean he's too close to attack back?
He's using a pole arm. Is that 5 feet?
He has to attack from a distance? That seems very ineffective for a vampire.
So 3 successes.
That is the second time I've rolled a 1 on that die. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. As you pull the trigger, it's like watching a windstorm. All of a sudden, he just moves to the side so fast that he blurs, and his hair whips out to the side, and you just see behind him as your buckshot like hits a vase, explodes it everywhere. And let's roll for initiative, shall we?
That's double dex?
So a D10 plus your dex plus... This is how many dice you have in it? Plus your wisdom. How many dice you have in that?
Wits. Right.
Sorry, wits.
4 successes for Billy.
Same for Mari.
0 for Peter.
All right, so I got Billy at 4.
3 for D.
Sorry, D got 3.
Yes.
Mari got 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whose dex is higher, Mari's or Billy's?
I have 3.
We both have the same.
Do you want to roll these?
Yeah.
No, Billy can go first because he's in the
On the
room
ground?
already,
Sure.
and I'm up in the elevator shaft.
What did Peter get?
0.
What did Ray get?
Eight.
8.
Oh,
Jesus.
How did you get 0?
I got 0 successes out of my 5 dice.
Oh, no, so it's a D10 plus your numbers.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
D10
thought you were-
plus
I
your
rolled
dex,
number of successes.
plus your
I
dex
rolled-
numbers, plus your dex, your wits numbers.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, how
Okay,
did,
so you
how
roll
did I roll so
a
much better than you?
I was like,
Okay,
you
I
roll a
think we all
single
rolled
D10
there.
and then
Totally.
add the number of dots that you have in
Yes,
wits
please.
and dexterity. Okay, I was rolling the number of dice and then counting successes.
Yeah, okay. in that case,
Yeah.
D got 13.
17
better.
for Billy.
Nice, much better.
Wait, what?
5.
How are you that high? 17.
I rolled a 10. I have 3 decks and 4 wits.
I was like, 17 is really high. I got a 10.
10, perfect. All right, much better. Billy, it is your turn. You've just fired. He moved out of the way. What do you do?
I think Billy grits his teeth and adjusts his aim. He knew that the vampire would be fast, but he just needs to try to be faster, and we're gonna take another shot. Five successes this time.
Don't forget you have advantages too.
Sure, I'll burn an advantage to make it 6.
Okay.
Do you want me to know? Do you want me to let you know if the advantage would help before you burn it?
Sure, that sounds nice.
Let's keep that advantage on your
Okay.
on
Okay.
for you right now. This time he moves like out of line of view. He's like gone off to your right, past the into the penthouse where you can't see. As you fire, there's a chunk of wood that flies off of the door and the wall behind it. Do you want to stay where you are? I think you can also move.
I think what Billy wants to do is sort of to try to cover his companions as they are all apparently bunched up in the elevator. And just think he wants to stay where he is in the hallway to make sure that they can get out.
Okay. In a moment, there's a flash of air and steel and twirling pole arm as he comes back around and is going to try and hit Billy with that halberd. This is a melee strike. Are you going to dodge or try to hit back?
How do they work respectively?
So if you dodge and you roll higher than his attack, you just dodge out of the way. If you attack back, then whoever rolls the highest deals the difference in damage from the other person's roll. So if you rolled a 9 and he rolled a 6, you would deal 3 damage to him. If you rolled a 3 and he rolls a 10, you're taking 7 damage. Does that make sense?
So the attempt to strike back is a bigger risk reward thing.
Yeah, because, well, to an extent, if you hit back, then you have the option of essentially damaging back. If you're just dodging, it really depends on your dice. If your dex dodge is higher than your whatever your attack is, then you have a higher chance of getting out of the way.
Okay.
Also, yes. Because if you fail, there is no failing on dodging unless you roll zeros, right? Like no successes. Even some successes on dodging is mitigating.
It's mitigating either way. So I would go for the one with the most dice pool. Because whatever you roll in successes is going to mitigate damage.
What attributes or skills would be applicable?
So dex dodge is your dodging out of the way. If you want to shoot,
There isn't like a dodge skill. So what is it? Is it just double dex? Or I don't see
Yes,
a
double
dodge
dex.
skill, so I was.
All right, I will dodge.
Okay.
For the sake of allowing this to move on.
Let me know how many successes you get.
4 successes.
All right, so as he comes around the corner, there's this blur of motion, and you manage to get out of the way, and there's this, you hear this slicing and ripping of your suit, the fabric slipping, and it's actually barely noticeable, but you kind of glance down as it happens, and there is a little spray of blood. You're going to take 1 point of damage. Yeah, it's a good thing that wasn't a rental, that you bought that one. All right, that is his turn. D, what are you doing over there?
I am. What do I see on my computer screen, or what do I see through my gun scope?
Yeah, make a wits awareness for me.
2 successes.
You're watching, you see some movement, but you're not really sure what you're seeing. It just looks like there's somebody moving through the room.
Shoot at them.
Sure.
If it's moving through the room, not where the elevator is, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna shoot at them.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the prepared ammunition I have, which pierces body armor and deals +5 damage. All of it aggravated.
Damn. Just so you know, I'm not rolling because this person cannot see this coming. There's no dodge. There's nothing for you to do other than make successes. So
1, 2. That's a good roll. 6 + 5 is 11. All of it
11.
aggravated.
damn. Hang on.
These are rounds that are like intended to shoot through the side of armored vehicles.
Right. So Billy, and to an extent Peter, you can see it's not really your focus, but you can see beyond Karsh, right? And you can see that there is a room and there's motion back there. There's some guy wearing looks like a tracksuit today. He's the guy that you saw in the video talking to Karsh, and his head just evaporates.
Okay.
And his body slumps to the ground. We're just gonna remove poor Sebastian from this. You don't even need to roll initiative, Sebastian. Goodbye.
Oh, Bastion.
Goodbye, Sebastian.
I'm going to spend the rest of my time rechambering.
You
It's a
light a smoke. All right. Well, that was D.
arc a hatch. Let's see how well you guys do. You got 1. I got 1.
So Mari.
Yeah, seeing things are just escalating quickly and hearing that they're escalating quickly. Mari is gonna. She's already put the glove on that Peter made. She's going to swing down and in one motion, out and off the elevator and like immediately towards wherever she sees Karsh.
Okay. Yeah, Karsh is like right in front of Billy, and he's got like there's a halberd that he has like extended out. You can see there's a little bit of blood spreading down Billy's side.
But yeah, so she swings out, and in like one motion, she's moving towards him, and I think because he looks like stone, and that's like what we've seen from what like in the video and stuff. She is going to try and aim the like injection needle on her glove, like in the eye of Karsh. The one area she thinks might be soft tissue besides the mouth, and trying to get the hand in the mouth just doesn't seem as feasible as.
All right, so you're gonna do a strength brawl.
Yeah, and I'll get 2 dice from the glove, and I get extra dice because fucking up vampires.
He's gonna retaliate if you miss.
That's fine, and she's gonna go with her desperation dice. It's just this is her. She's gonna try and end this or hurt him as soon as she can. Okay, this is a lot of dice.
And we got advantages.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 successes.
Wow, that's pretty good.
There were 4 zeros, like crits. So
do you want to use any of your advantages? How many do you have?
How many do we have left?
5.
Is that total for everyone?
That's for everyone. You know what? We'll add 2. We'll add 2 of them to that.
2?
Make that an 11. A nice round 11.
How many do I have, Jason?
You have 3.
3? I'm going to use 2 too.
To make it a nice round 11
for the next episode.
What's that?
Are you sure you
should I add more?
For the next episode?
We have more. I can add more successes.
You know what? I'm going to add all 3. I'm going to add all 3. Do you want to add any more?
Will it make a difference?
You feel like it might.
What do you guys want? Do you want me to just blow them all here?
This is the blood attack, so hopefully it.
Great, I'll do all 5 of them and make it a 14.
Nice.
Successes.
You beat him by 3.
Oh.
You don't like.
Thanks for our advantages.
Right? You punch him in the face, and you do see the needle like kind of goes up through his like the fleshy bit under his eye into his eye and kind of like up and through. But like he's kind of still looking at you, and as you pull your fist back, you can feel the like vibration of the blood injecting through the needle, and he just kind of like turns and he's like swiping at you, and so you're like dodging out of the way, and then he kind of blinks and he stumbles back. I just need to double check something real quick because there is a thing that I don't want to mess up. Yeah.
Go for it.
You notice, like, he steps back and you notice the flesh on his face begins to soften. It kind of like sag. And then it wrinkles and then it starts smoking and spreading. And he, like, kind of looks at all of you confusedly. And he blinks and he grits his teeth and he kind of snarls at you, and you can see his incisors just lengthen, and then everything grows back and he blinks and like a little bit of like decayed flesh falls off.
Shit. Plan B, magnesium powder. Well, I mean, I still actually have another needle. We still have 2 more needles.
With that, it is Ray's turn. Ray drops down. He's got
Ray's got blood.
Right. Ray's got his knife in one hand and his Glock in the other. And he sees this all happen and he's just like, oh, what the hell am I doing here? He does raise his gun and he's going to fire multiple times into Karsh's face. It's all about the face. Does Ray have any advantages?
We just burned all of them.
We just burnt all the advantages.
There's
on
no
for
like,
everybody.
there's no specific ones for anyone. Okay, just checking.
Those. I've got one left that Miko gave me earlier to myself.
And I'm out, right? With
Yes, you're out.
okay, because technically I could use mine as Ray too. He is,
No, you use them all to try and stop my fist.
he's shaking pretty bad. Karsh is dodging this. He needs to get a 2. Which he actually rolled pretty badly, but he does manage to, he gets 4, and so he kind of dodges back again. He's not moving quite as fast as he was, and as you see him back up, he moves out of the small room that you're in and into the larger room beyond. He stops and he holds that halberd at the ready, and he kind of glances behind him like he's looking for backup, only to notice that his backup is laying dead on the ground. Peter.
Yeah, none of one of the windows are broken out. I'm assuming from that shot that took out the other guy.
You didn't see any windows blow out. You are not in that room whatsoever.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing based on the shot blowing that guy's head off. I'm going to activate Vlad and hover it up and start coming into.
So D is on the east side of the building. Did you put Vlad on the east side or the west side?
I would have probably put him on the east side, knowing that he's going to be shooting through.
Good thinking.
And that, yeah.
Nice. You look down, you see, like you hover Vlad up and essentially get ready. You see where the bullet went through. There is like a large hole. It didn't blow out the entirety of the window. It looks like the window is probably reinforced, but do you think Vlad can get enough momentum? Does it have...
I'm hoping it's compromised. We'll see. I will aim the stake and try to impale him with Vlad.
So let's get Vlad into the building first. Let's do a what do you have to roll for to control your...
So the drone in this particular case, brawl and firearms is controlled by my intelligence.
Sure.
And drone craft.
So do brawl
technology.
and intelligence.
Okay, so intelligence technology in this particular case. Other skills use different things, so 5 successes.
That's what you needed. Everyone hears a resounding cracking noise. You hear large panes of glass fall, but the window itself doesn't like implode in. No one can really see what it is, although Billy, you do see some faint sunlight because it is coming from the east side of the building. It's more reflected light from elsewhere that starts pouring in, and Karsh looks off in that direction and then back at you. The sunlight hasn't hit him, but you know it is there. If you want to try and hit him in this, like, like keep the momentum going and trying to go, I will let you do it. You are going to have to use your danger dice to do it.
Okay. Or my despair.
That's the one, sorry.
Okay. So add those to this attack.
Yes, please.
Okay. I do have one advantage from Miko. I will add that to this to try to impale him with Vlad.
I think he's going to attack back. He's...
Oh, sure. So that'll be 6 successes.
All right. You don't have any more successes or any more advantages.
Nah.
I beat it by 1.
Okay.
He swings that halberd around. There's a cracking noise. Billy, you can see plastic fly off of the drone. Sorry, what's the drone's name? Vlad. I feel like 1 damage does not take out the drone, though, does it?
No, but it is aggravated damage because it's a flying drone.
Okay. So you see the drone kind of like trying to catch its balance. And then it's your turn, Billy.
Do I have a sense of where that back stairway is in here from our conversation earlier?
Yeah, so looking at the video that Peter had shown you before, it is the opposite side of where you are. So the far end of the building, there is this large painting you can see now. Before it was just kind of a panel in the indescript video, but there's a painting there. It looks like of it's some like ancient battle. There's like horses and warriors fighting. You think it's behind that painting.
Okay. And there are a decent number of windows in this room, and we've only shot out just the one, right? So there's just a little sliver of light.
Yeah, it looks like there's like a beam of light coming in from the right.
Okay. I want to move to the area of that painting to try to cut off a retreat.
Okay.
And as I'm doing that, I want to shoot out as many more windows as I can.
Sure.
With my shotgun.
So because you're running, it's going to be a little harder for you to effectively, because you have to run to get there, or you could move halfway essentially and not take the penalty.
I'll move halfway. I'd rather not take the penalty.
Sure.
Karsh is a quick fucker, but he has been counterattacking against like 4 other people, so surely his attention can't be fully on me, right? Anyway, that's the theory.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your shotgun. So it's firearms and dex.
All right. 2 successes.
You fire off and you see holes appear, like little chunks here and there. It doesn't blow out any of the windows like entire panes or anything. But from the west side, I'm assuming you're shooting the west side. It's where the sun is.
If it's not getting sun in, I'm not super interested.
Perfect. Yeah, so you shoot towards the west. Again, the glass is reinforced. It is not bulletproof, but it is a reinforced glass. And so there are a handful of beams that begin to illuminate the ground. There is another area that is potentially dangerous for him to be pushed into. Much like Vlad hitting it, you do feel like now that it has been weakened, it'll be easier to take out that pain. But that would be for another turn. Karsh looks at you, Billy, looks at everyone else, and then stops and looks again at Ray. And you see his nostrils flare, almost stretching beyond normal. There's this ripple that goes over his face. He has to do a roll here to see if he can maintain composure. And I got 1 success.
Oh no.
He stops and he actually drops the halberd. It just falls lifelessly from his hand. His fangs grow even larger, and you notice his jaw cracks to the side, and he begins drooling. This wildness sets into his eyes, his features. You notice his ears grow a little longer, hair sprouting from them. He is going to rush Ray.
Ray?
Does someone want to
Not
roll?
the one that punched him in the face.
Can
Not at the moment.
Can someone roll 7d10 for me?
Yes, sir. That would be 4 successes.
Okay. Out of curiosity, Mari, how many hit points do you have?
7.
7? Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, stamina is my highest attribute.
Wow, I got no successes on that. That is
I mean, he's frenzied. It makes
both
sense.
shocking and horrifying considering how many dice he rolled.
Why are you gonna try and hurt me?
No. So he runs towards Ray, and he goes and like he goes to grab Ray, and Ray is just like, nope, no, not a level 1 vampire, and he like steps back out of the way.
I would absolutely try to step in between them.
It is Dee's turn.
Okay.
You do not see, in your view, you do not see Karsh. You see Billy. Or you're pretty sure it's Billy. Looks like Billy.
Well, better shoot him. No. I'm
Just take them all. No witnesses.
I'm going to trigger a few of the subroutines to keep the elevator at the top floor.
Okay.
And start evacuations. I'm not gonna spray all the water all over every single resident right now, but I'm going to start like a fire alarm that is just inside the building.
So because you pre-set up the elevator thing, I'm not even going to have you roll for that, but do quick intelligence tech just for the multitasking of getting the other stuff going. It's pretty easy.
3 successes.
Perfect. Everyone hears the fire alarm begin to blare. It seems to be coming from mostly the elevator and in the distance. There's no like active alarm in here. Billy, you do actually see some lights under the edges, like essentially around the edge of the walls. There's like those sub lights and they're flashing. It's a visual alarm up here.
I'm going to just begin. Well, I'm going to be monitoring for any, like, hey, someone just shot a gun above my head.
Totally.
On, like, the police channels. But other than that, I'm just going to be keeping view of the area.
Perfect. Samari, Karsh is next to you at this point. He's kind of expanding, his muscles ripping, expanding, swelling. He's trying to grab Ray. What do you do?
I'm gonna take out the needle
Sure.
that I have. It seemed like it pierced his skin from the last time. So she's gonna go directly for the heart and hope that maybe it just was too far away.
Sure.
So she's gonna try and jab it into the heart and put Ray's blood in this guy.
And he is pretty focused. He is going to try and dodge, but he is not currently able to try and smash you back.
And this is still strength brawl, correct?
Correct.
Also going to say on the radio, like, I don't have vision of him get him in my line of sight.
Okay.
Okay, so we haven't done this, but I'll write it as a rule. Can I spend a willpower to re-roll 3 of my dice?
Yeah.
Great, I'm gonna do that. Awesome. 7 successes.
7 successes. The needle jams in. You feel it hit cartilage and bone, and you try and push it through. You're not sure if you hit the heart, but you feel the vibration of the blood being injected in. Anything else?
I mean, she puts herself between Karsh and Ray.
Gotcha. It's kind of, yeah. I mean, you're all kind of just.
Yeah, so I imagine it's kind of like she swings to the side, puts it in, and then just shifts so that she's right in front of the vampire's face.
All right, I need to.
So no big movements, but just like small little things to try and put the focus on her.
Karsh begins to scream. It's this guttural, bestial scream. It almost sounds like a roar of like a lion or something, but it's gurgling at the same time. And he grabs his chest and looks down, and you can see that through the shirt there's black ichor kind of spreading. Ray.
Karsh is no good bad day.
Ray looks a little freaked out, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But he is going to he actually reaches over and like tries to push it up against where you stabbed. He pushes the butt or hit the barrel of his gun up against it and fires. Unfortunately, Karsh only needs to get 2 successes to dodge out of the way. Actually, Karsh, because he is focused, he is going to try to.
Well, would it be a retaliation on me? He can retaliate against me if he succeeds. I'm in between the two of them. I'll take it.
He didn't roll great. 1, 2, 3, 5. But he didn't roll poorly. So he can't retaliate on you because you have to retaliate against the person attacking you. And so he grabs Ray's arm and twists it, and Ray yells out as you can hear the bone like creaking in his arm, and he drops his gun. You can see his magazine is spent anyway, so it's just like falls to the ground and empty. But he has a hold of his arm and is twisting it. Peter.
Yeah, so we know Karsh knows about us. I'm going to try to play that against him, especially while he doesn't seem to be thinking well. Peter's going to reach into his pack and pull out a fake explosive. Let's go to hell, asshole. And looking like and hoping it's going to force him back effectively.
Gotcha.
He's not going to want to be right there next to us type thing.
So you want to call this intimidation is what I'm hearing.
I was thinking it's more subterfuge manipulation type. Right? Like it's not a real thing, right?
Sure.
It's just trying to scare
I'll
you.
give it to you.
Yeah. All right. You roll that. I will use my desperation dice with that since this is subterfuge. And I'm going to spend a willpower to re-roll some stuff. So it'll end up being 4 successes on the manipulation.
And you got nothing else, right?
Nothing else.
Beat
Just
you by
hoping
1.
Okay. Worth a shot.
His eyes do glance over at you, and he eyes like the detonator But then this just like rabidness sets in, and he goes back to like looking at Ray.
Oh yeah, makes perfect sense. I was hoping to scare him with what he knew about me.
Billy.
Is there any way to shoot out a window that's going to shed light on where Harsh and Ray are right now?
So they are currently in that little pocket of a room that is not in the main room that you're in. But I was thinking about this. Waiting for that question. No, but there are many reflective surfaces in this room. There are paintings. You see several like silver platters that there are like bottles of wine sitting on and such. So could you reflect light at him? Absolutely.
Okay. You said I would need to take some more shots to get a whole window's worth of light, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do that. I want to take out another window or two.
Sure.
And find a silver platter or something like that.
So go ahead and shoot your shotgun with firearms dex. It is a much easier shot now that you've weakened the window.
I think 5 successes. Crits are double 10s, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so just 5 successes.
Okay. So it blows open this massive pane. That pane falls to the ground. Everyone hears the crash. Sunlight pours in. Karsh does glance over, his eyes going wide, but it's not hitting him. Do you want to use your movement to pick up something that is reflective?
Yes.
Okay. Karsh begins to emit this high-pitched sound. It almost sounds like what like a trapped animal makes. But his eyes settle again on Ray. I need to make a roll here. His one success does not make it. His jaws extend as he attempts to bite Ray.
He really wants that blood.
Can someone roll 7d10 for me for Ray and let me know what you get?
Sure.
I got 1 crit and an 8 and a 6. So that is 5 successes.
Beat by 1. Ray goes to dodge out of the way, but as he does, that snapping of bone increases and Ray cries out, drug forward, and Karsh like pushes his mouth up against his like shoulder where it meets the arm that he's twisting. You can see a little bit of crimson kind of blossom off, but he doesn't have a very good hold. Ray's going to take 1 point of damage from that. And it is Dee's turn.
What is the situation from where D is sitting?
So you see the light in your scope get brighter, and you had noticed Billy was in the room firing at the opposite side. You can't really see where he was shooting, but all of a sudden the glare of light coming in, you get the feeling that he has opened a window. Other than that, everyone's still in that little alcove.
There's no police traffic or anything like that.
You haven't heard anything.
Okay. I would like to hold an action, and if I see an enemy, I'm going to shoot it as soon as I see it. Okay.
Sounds good. Mari.
Okay.
I'm also
So what
gonna,
I
sorry, one more thing. I'm
Okay.
going to for my movement. I'm going to start an internal timer in my head and give myself 2 minutes before I have to be out of this room,
Gotcha. Perfect.
regardless of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. How? I'm assuming there's not like a lot of suppression on the gun you're firing. Perfect.
But I've only shot it once, so
Good to know. Mari.
so what I would like to do, I would like to kind of, because I'm currently smushed between a vampire that is biting at Ray. I'm like smushed between the two of them because I was there. And so I would like to kind of shove him back, and while his mouth is still open, shove a vial of magnesium powder in his
Sure.
mouth. And yes, that is what I would like to do.
I feel like even though Ray's not doing this on purpose, you're kind of like the girl in what is that movie? Oh crap! Now I can't think of what it's called. Never mind. The two dancers and they're like bouncing her back and forth. Anyway, go ahead and
But yeah,
roll
so
your.
it's just a shove in the mouth.
Sure, we'll call it brawl.
Great. I like brawls.
Night at the Roxbury.
oh,
Okay. I'm gonna spend another willpower. Roll 3 more. Roll 3. Ooh, that was good. On 7 successes.
10 successes.
Was it 7? No, sorry, it was 8 successes.
Okay.
That's right. 8 successes.
He doesn't necessarily see it coming, but just the closeness is very difficult to make it happen. He's very strong, and you try to push him back, and it just doesn't work, and so you kind of slip, and you still have the magnesium in your hand. You haven't let go of it, but you weren't able to get it in where you wanted to. Ray.
I mean, she's still gonna try and put herself between Ray and
Yeah, so you're all just
as
kind
much
of
as
like
she can.
bunched up there. Ray is not enjoying this whatsoever and is going to try and
Run to the sunlight,
Yeah,
please,
he's
for the love of God.
he needs to extract himself from this grip, so he's got to do a athletic strength here.
There's no way for me to help him.
Sure. Roll your strength. Let me know how many successes you get.
Just strength.
Yeah, just strength. Because he's going to need it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 2 successes on 2 dice.
Okay, well, that gives you 3 total successes,
Oh, man. Buddy.
right? Karst
For all
didn't
your
roll that
talk.
great, though. Well, okay.
All your talk.
I was going to say Karst didn't roll that great, but he did. Ray is not able to break free. Like, you kind of try and help him pull away, and there's like the shredding of his shirt a little bit, but other than that, he just can't. From behind you, a little kid jumps in and he says, "Kick him in the nards!" Peter, what do you do?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is like, come on, Ray, blood like fire, remember? As the thing still plays on his phone, hoping that
Ray's
somehow-
like, "You come get bit by this guy."
I'm hoping to try to kick in whatever it is that
Yeah.
takes him over. Well, I can't really do much in melee to help here.
You don't have to be in melee to help.
Well, no, I'm stuck in melee right now.
Blood's still up, right?
Blood's still up. I can take out another window, maybe. So
I mean,
Vlad
that
will
doesn't
turn
sound like a
and-
bad idea to
Yeah.
the GM, but
No, I'm gonna Vlad will hover there, turn onto another window, and open fire on it.
okay. Go ahead and roll that.
Wow, 8 successes
Nice.
out of 9 dice.
So, Billy, you're in the room, and you're just kind of like watching through the camera on it, but extending on what Billy blew out, Vlad goes over and just like lets go, just like firing into these other windows that were a little damaged from Billy's buckshot. And another panel that's nearby just shatters and blows out, collapsing out into the patio beyond. Anything else, Peter?
I don't think I can roll out of this elevator in particular, right? It's totally blocked out, right?
It would be, you could, but it would be difficult.
Yeah, Peter's
Instead
not
of just
athletic
doing it,
enough.
you'd have to do a
Yeah.
roll for it.
Yeah, Peter's not athletic enough to try something like
Okay.
that. So he'll stay here. He'll try to give a little bit of cover to Ray if he can, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Billy, the entire, it would be the south side of it, but the elevator side of the room is just bathed in glorious sunlight. But none of it is currently hitting Karsh because everyone's in the elevator room. What do you want to do?
I'd like to take the the silver platter or serving tray or whatever it was that I could easily grab at hand, and try to figure out how to angle that bad boy to shine that on Karsh.
Let's call it a dexterity. You have firearms training, right?
That's right.
We're going to call it firearms.
So I have firearms training, but we're going to say this is not actually a firearm because I rolled incredibly poorly with only a single success.
Okay. For what it's worth, he's not really paying attention, and so he's not going to get all of his stuff. He is getting that many. Oh, yeah, it was still more than one though. As you like aim it up, he feels the burn start, and he like turns and kind of puts Ray in between himself and you. So now Ray's getting lit up, but is not like being hurt by it, obviously. Or is he?
I mean, it's the sun. We've seen him in the sun.
We are all
As his
by this time.
SPF 5000 slowly starts to melt off, he's like, no.
It finally got me.
All right, that
I mean, you
brings
put it on,
us
that's
to
why he's got the stone-like skin. It's actually just layers he's let absorb, and
right.
you know.
All right, somebody roll 7d10 for me. Let me know what you get.
All right, I can do that. Five successes. Yay, 2 10s.
All right, yeah, this is it. I got 9 successes.
Oh wow.
Mari, there is a crunching noise and then like this weird splort, and blood just like sprays you in the face, and Ray just lets out this scream, and Karsh just settles in. There's like this weird keening noise that he starts making as he's just drinking Ray. D.
You
The
broke
light is still on Ray, or did he, or is his face still is his face in the sun now that he's drinking?
So currently the light is like on Ray's back because
Okay.
the roll was just not great, but can Billy hit him next time? We'll find out.
Or can I remove Ray?
Right.
And then the sun is on him.
But before that, D. You're so thoughtful.
I have the distance to be thoughtful.
You're over there stirring your Starbucks.
What?
Right. I'll
What do I
survive.
see in the room? I'm not talking about people. Like, what is in the room that I can see from my vantage point?
How about this? What are you looking for?
I don't know yet. Like, just give me like. Yeah.
I mean,
Is
there's art hanging on the walls. There's some vases. There's some
I mean,
plants.
is there a kitchenette? Is there, like, what is the layout of the room?
Oddly enough, you don't see a kitchen. You see a wet bar, but you don't see like a kitchen or a stove.
Do I see any electronics?
There's a TV hanging on the wall. Yeah.
He's gonna continue to. I mean, I can't do anything, so I'm continuing to monitor.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Wait. From the other floors in the Intercontinental, what was the elevator door made of? Is it like silver? Is it like that, like stainless steel?
It is stainless steel. I'm like, is it silver? I get what you mean, though. Yes, it is stainless steel.
If the doors were closed, would there be any light reflecting off of them into the area?
So, no, unless there was light reflecting in onto them, but they would certainly help fill that room with sunlight should someone reflect into
I'm
there.
going to. I mean, I don't really have another option. I'm going to close the doors, even though Peter's inside.
Sure. To be honest, Peter, you're just like, oh, cool, as the doors close.
Oh, all right.
And then I'm just waiting for my chance to shoot. Otherwise, and counting down the time until
Okay.
I have to bug out and monitor. I'm just doing what I was doing before.
Yeah. So, Mari, you can hear the sucking noises that Karsh is making. You notice that there are areas on him, like where you stabbed him, that are slowly regenerating. What do you do?
I am going to try and disengage Ray from Karsh and pull him away so that the sun is now reflected onto Karsh. And then we'll get to the rest of my movement if I successfully pull Ray away.
If you... Sure. Okay. Do a athletics brawl.
Athletics brawl.
In like strike
Sure.
brawl.
I'll take athletics brawl. Don't.
Sorry, strength brawl. Meh.
I'm gonna add my desperation dice because I'm pretty desperate. Okay. 1, 2. 8 successes.
8 successes. Missed it by 1.
Can I then use a willpower to reroll some dice?
Sure.
Because I do have a couple dice that I could reroll that are not
Give it a shot.
desperation dice.
Just to be fair,
Okay.
I also do have willpower.
That's
I
fair.
might also do that, but let's see what you get.
Okay, 2 more successes. It's
All
a
right,
10.
I'm going to spend willpower. And you tied. The two of you kind of struggle back and forth. It doesn't do any damage to you or Ray or to Karsh. Yeah, you're all just kind of stuck there. Ray, like, weakly takes...
Disengage!
Very loud.
Carly,
Very loud.
You get a little loud sometimes when you yell at the
Very
mic.
loud.
It's
Oh, I'm not even close to my mic, but okay.
Ray very weakly tries to stab upward at Karsh. He did get a crit,
nice.
but that's only going to be 3 successes against Karsh's retaliation, which just isn't going to cut it. Oh, look, there's a crit.
Ray,
gonna-
what are you doing, man?
We're gonna take a moment here because Ray blacks out. Ray is dying. His lifeblood has stopped flowing as he floats here in this murkiness. He can hear the screaming outside has stopped, and there's a voice speaking to him. A voice that he can't understand. Rather, he doesn't recognize the words, but he understands what they mean. And as the area that he's floating in cools, and he can feel himself disconnecting, there is a tearing noise. And then golden light pours in, and his eyes are closed. He has never actually opened them before. And then he's cold. He's outside. He's shaking, but he can't breathe. And someone slaps him, and he starts to cry. And as he begins to cry, he kind of flutters his eyes, and he can't really focus yet, but he's looking around. And though he can't see where he came from, he can see this sigil. He doesn't understand what that is yet, but many years from now, Peter will see this sigil in his eyes just before Ray passes out and drives them into a ditch. And there's a woman that holds him, and she's saying that it's going to be okay, that he will have his... There's a word he doesn't really know, but he will come to understand that it means revenge. And that his blood burns like the sun. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right button. In the elevator room. Let's do... Sorry. In the elevator room, the back of Karsh's head, Billy, splits open and light begins to pour out. And then it's spilling out like liquid from his sides. Mari, you're like, what the hell is this? As sunlight pours on you. It's liquid. It's pouring onto your arm. It's running down your legs. And it feels warm, but it's not burning you. Definitely not like it's burning Karsh. Through your scope, D, you can see sunlight pouring into this room from the elevator room. You don't know how it got in there. And in the camera of the drone that you're watching from, Peter, you can see this flare light up that just whites out everything you can see. Karsh lets go of Ray, who falls to the ground and begins howling like mad. He's on fire. He is on fire from the sun, from inside him. What do you do, Billy?
I think Billy is agape for just a moment. And I think then he drops the platter and he just strides over to Karsh and just begins emptying what remains of his clip into him.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
Three successes.
As the bullets, as the shotgun pellets rip through him, you can see dark flecks of flesh kind of pour off onto the ground as more sunlight beams begin to emit from where you shot him. Mari, what do you do?
Seeing this and seeing, I'm guessing, Ray on the ground still kind of bleeding out, or Ray look like, what does Ray look like?
Ray looks pretty bad off. He's definitely bleeding. He's bleeding blood, not sunlight. And you can see his lips moving, like he's talking, but you can't hear him.
As best as I can, I'm gonna try and pull Ray, like, carefully, like, away from this alcove that we've been in, and then try to stabilize him. So, I know she can't, like, fully heal him, but just make sure that he doesn't go into the light.
So I know it's a medicine check. Is it wits, I think?
I don't know.
We'll call it wits.
Two successes.
Nice. I mean, there's a lot of damage. That Karsh's mouth was extraordinarily distended.
Yeah, it applying pressure.
Right. Yeah, and you like kind of grab some fabric and stuff it in there. He's not bleeding as bad.
Yeah, and she's probably tried to pull him, like, as far as comfortable, so that she knows maybe that Dee can see her and him in case something happens.
Yeah, in the viewfinder of your, like, in the scope, you see, at first you just see Mari, but she's kind of hunched over, and then you kind of readjust, and you can see that she's dragging Ray, and then Ray disappears as she kind of, like, lays him down and begins working on him. The viewfinder of your camera, Peter, returns. There's some static. The flare was so bright it, like, damaged the optics, but you can see what's going on. What do you do?
Yeah, first thing he's going to say, hey, you might want to get some cover in there. I don't know if this blood like the sun is literal or not, just in case. And I'm also going to get the suicide drone out of there. So Vlad's going to take off out one of the busted windows.
Okay.
Because I don't want a chain reaction here. just in case.
Makes
So I'm
sense.
getting the explosive leak drone out of the
Perfect.
room.
Okay. All right. So, Karsh is grasping at himself. He's trying to hold himself together, but he turns back towards Ray and stumbles forward towards Mari and Ray, kind of passing Billy, but not moving out of your range. He's not really capable, it seems. He's reaching towards him, and you can see like bits of his fingers are melting off. Billy, what do you do?
Billy drops the spent mag, slots in a new one, and gets just a little bit closer and begins emptying that freshly changed magazine into Karsh's head and shoulders.
Okay. Are you doing so from as he's walking out of the elevator room? He's essentially going to be stepping into the main room. Are you going behind him or in front of him to do this, or off to the side? Also a viable option.
I'm just I'm walking as I'm reloading and just as directly as I can
Sure.
towards him.
Go ahead and roll it.
Three more successes.
How do you want to do this?
Karsh is resilient, right? The pellets strike him and burn and penetrate, but the unnatural blood inside him, tries to bring that back together. But I think that what's within him, Ray's blood, is just too much. And first, parts of his shoulders or neck are shot off and attempt to regrow. Then part of the side of his head and some bloodied brain is exposed, and that tries to regenerate until a final shot basically splits his head in half, and then the blood does the rest, and he just comes apart.
So Mari, spilling just blood and gore in front of you. What's left of Karsh comes to a rest at yours and Ray's feet. The sunlight pouring into the room makes pretty quick work of what's left, evaporating, burning away. As you two that are still in the room kind of stare at this whatever this is that just happened. D, you hear on your scanner, there's been calls that there's gunfire somewhere over in the area of the Intercontinental. We're sending some patrols over to investigate. And you just go over, start picking up your stuff, and you head out.
Yeah, he'll probably switch into one of the janitor's outfit that he has prepared in his room, and grabs the janitor cart that he stole a couple days ago, and just breaks down his gun in all the things, and just walks out of the building and pretending like he's a janitor, and says, "I'm exfilling. You have patrols on the way. I'll do what I can to slow them down." And then I'll in the laptop, I'll try and misroute them the patrols like, oh, you have to go around this construction that doesn't exist.
Gotcha. Real quick, do you let them out of the penthouse, or what's the?
Yeah.
Okay. So the doors reopen to the elevator. What do the three of you do?
Let's get the hell out of here. Do we want to take the stairs? We
Uh,
carry
Joke,
Ray
right?
down.
It's a joke, right? Bro, get in the elevator.
All right, we'll be taking Ray right down through right the middle of the hotel is more what I was getting at.
Yeah, but you're not doing 11 stories. Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you guys.
I'm not arguing about this with you. Get in.
Well, one sec. Peter will roll into the room real quick and grab the laptop that he had been working on and just take it with him.
while he's doing that, Mari's gonna take the body that's still in the elevator and pull it out of the elevator.
Fair. Okay. You're leaving it in the penthouse, right? Not like.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So that way, maybe people will infer that the blood, like if they see us, that the blood is Ray's, and we're like rushing to get him to the hospital.
Right. Okay.
While we're going down, I'm just setting the drone on auto to keep going west out to sea. I don't
Okay.
care if it ever comes back. 'Cause,
Okay.
you know, don't need to deal with that right now.
One day it washes up on like some distant shore. Family goes over, picks it up. Kaboom! As the three of
Collateral
you
damage.
carry Ray, you get in the elevator, you head down. You're not really sure what to expect. There's the ding as you hit the bottom floor, the doors open, and it's just kind of organized chaos. People are filing out. You do see some people glance over and look at you rather concernedly. You are covered in blood, and there's a very injured person. But the alarm going off works in your favor. People start pointing. You can hear them talking. They're like, "Oh, this must be what the alarm's for." And people are like, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" Moving out of the way so that you can move through this crowd that's trying to file out of the doors. Outside, you see people on the far side of the street. Some people still wandering in the street. Fire trucks are in the distance. You can hear their sirens. And the three of you take Ray down the street and disappear into the sunset.
We steal the awful, terrible Cybertruck. He doesn't need it anymore. He's dead.
No.
It gets 10 feet, then breaks down.
Right. And with that, as you all make your way to wherever it is that you are going to go, we're going to do a quick epilogue. Just so you know, you will not be on screen for this, so feel free to make faces, whatever. Several miles offshore from the Northern California coast is a large shipping boat covered with various shipping containers, and for all intents and purposes looks like it is making a typical shipping delivery to the coast. Inside, however, various computers chug away at their various jobs. People move around with intent, watching footage from cameras all over not only San Francisco and LA, but much of California and even east into Texas and further In one dark room, there's a set of monitors that are showing the Intercontinental Hotel and the carnage that just took place on the upper floor. There's drone footage of the building as little spy cameras float around it. There's footage of Ray's bloody corpse, bloody body. He's not dead yet, being carried away by Billy and Mari. In the distance, several blocks away, there's video of Dee walking out of the hotel he was in. And Amelia Love leans back and smiles. A long-haired figure behind her sets his elongated, bony hands on her shoulder, pats it gently. Good job. And with that, I thank you for watching Hunter Bad Blood. It has been a pleasure to bring the story to you. We will be talking about this for a while, I think, and maybe we'll see these characters again in the near future. For tonight, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.